Hello everyone, it's Gift again from the 23 Home with Glenn and Gift powered by Keller Williams. I am so excited to share with you the market update, real estate market and economy in general. So today we have a good news. Yes! So I'm here with Bill Burnett, the president of Homestead Mortgage. Bill also appeared for national television on the NBC, CBS, Fox Business Networking to provide technical analysis. With us, Bill, and I would like for you to share with everyone how is the COVID affect the economy and mortgage industry today.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me, Gift. I appreciate you allowing me to share this information with all your friends, family, and clients. It's very important that we understand what's going on right now.
Yes.
And I get a lot of calls, people panicking about the economy, what's going on with that, nervous about their employment, also curious or nervous about what's going on in the mortgage industry as well. So I thought it would be a great time for me to share some information on what's going on with the coronavirus currently today in the economy and the mortgages, but also show a quick comparison to other pandemics or major occurrences, turbulence in the markets in the past, so we can kind of put things in perspective.
Yeah, so I know it's a lot of people still curious, and is this going to be like the same when we back to 2009, 2008? The answer what I hear from many experts is say no, but of course I like to hear from you as you in the field and you can provide all the update for everyone thinking about buying, selling, or do anything in real estate market, or even just regular update economy. So you want to go through that?
Yeah, that'd be great. Matter of fact, that's funny because I get the same questions about the 2008 because that's so recent in our memories about how bad it was back then. But if you don't mind, I'll share a screen real quick and show you some charts and some graphs and some information, and we can discuss exactly what's going on. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
All right. Okay, perfect. All right, so what we're going to be talking about is how the pandemic has affected the economy and mortgages specifically, and then compare that to occurrences in the past. And I want to make sure everybody relaxes a little bit. It's not as bad as the media is presenting, or your favorite friend who's telling you exactly what he thinks is happening. It is bad, so I don't want to underplay that. But it's not as bad as people are estimating at this point. First, I would like to thank everybody who's participated in the social distancing and the hand sanitizing and all that, because hopefully that's gotten us past the peak here. We're on the backside. Evidence is showing that everywhere, including New York City, which was the epicenter. So thank you for everybody participating in that, and don't relax. We need to keep doing that for a while, but I want to jump into first thing to look at would be what happened in the mortgage market. And so what we're looking at is a small segment of a mortgage-backed security chart, which I watch every day. As part of, as Gift mentioned, I'm very into the technical side of the market. I do have the media come to me for analysis, but I'm going to try and keep this pretty simple here so everybody can understand. But I thought a graph would be a great thing to be able to show. So this is the mortgage-backed securities themselves. And so as the prices go up here, rates go down. So we want to see things going up in this direction. So we had a good run up until March 9th. Things were going very well in the bond market. In the stock market, we all noticed that there was thousands of points lost. So that was not good, but that's beneficial to the bond market because people take money out of the stock market and put it over here in the bond market where the mortgage-backed securities are traded. On the 9th right here, that's actually the day when it spiked right up to the top here. We got to 3.25 on an interest rate, and that is the all-time low. Unfortunately, that caused some bad things to happen. When the rates get to historic levels, which this was, everybody wants to refinance. Okay? You have people buying homes. And that's going, but the refinance market just exploded. And so to put things in perspective, when we hit this March 9th point right here, Last year, we did $2 trillion of mortgage volume in 1 year, and that was a record. Okay. In this 30-day window right here, $3 trillion came in. So think about that. We did $2 trillion in a year, and that was a record for our industry. And in the last 30 days, $3 trillion has tried to come into the market. So way beyond capacity. Everything's going very slow. And so we're going to get there. And when I say get there, right here, if you're looking here on the technical side, if this was 3.25, we could be, if everything was normalized right now, we weren't dealing with the coronavirus, full employment like we were before, everything was running smoothly, rates would very likely be at 3% or maybe even better. Okay. Now that's partly due to the Federal Reserve buying mortgage bonds during this week right here. They bought $50 billion every day of this week. So you see, that's why the mortgage-backed securities went up in price. So extreme volatility. Don't want to get into too much more detail about this chart, but extreme volatility. This little green box right here, normally is a big swing in a day, 30 points. We had days that we were swinging over here 300 points in a day. I mean, that's just extreme volatility. So people ask, when's the economy going to recover? And so I think the answer is sooner than later. And it's going to happen fairly quickly, which would be normal for this type of occurrence. And we'll see later in the charts, exactly what that means. So we have hit the pause button. I mean, things have slowed down. Things are kind of indecision is definitely in the market. When you have indecision and uncertainty, it causes extreme volatility. So we're seeing that both on the stock market side as well as the bond market side itself. But a lot of the major institutions who we would normally rely on up on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley, they're predicting a V-shaped recovery here. I think that gift is probably a little aggressive. I think we're probably going to have a little bottom here, but it's going to be very close to this V. So that means we're going to come out of this fairly quickly. All right.
So you talk about April right now, the V.
Okay, so this would be in the first quarter of this year. Okay. This would be the descent of going into the second quarter, which is now the bottom of the market. Everything being bad, and this would be the coming out, the ascent out of the bottom of the market, based on getting back to what we're hearing anyway right now, May 1st in some areas, getting back to work and the economy starting to happen and come back. Yeah. So they're expecting by, say, third quarter, we're going to be having positive GDP, gross domestic product growth. Again, I think that's a little aggressive, but it's going to be very close to this. So I'm agreeing generally with these folks up here on Wall Street, although I think it might be a little bit of a bottom in it. But this is going to be a fairly quick recovery, and I agree with that.
Which is good, right? That's
yes.
Instead of flat line, we see the dip, and then we'll go back right up.
Yeah. Good news. Well, the big thing is there's a lot of things that are happening right now, but one of the biggest things is right now the people are unemployment is at crazy levels. Yeah. We're going to be seeing 20% unemployment. We were at 3%. I mean, it's crazy. So one of the problems is the consumer spending part of the economy is 2/3 of the whole economy. So when people aren't employed and they're not spending money and we're not going to restaurants and the movies and different things, that's a killer. So the faster we come out of this V-shaped bottom and get people back to work, the quicker we start spending, the faster the economy is going to come back to normal. Yeah. So, but this is normal. When we have pandemics, we had SARS, we've had the swine flu, and this now the coronavirus. Typically, you see a fairly sharp recovery, V-shaped recovery, and very little damage to the housing market. All right, that's another key thing here. So anybody who was panicking about, gee, my property is going to drop in value a lot, just like 2008, that should not happen historically. That's not occurred before, and I don't anticipate that now either.
Yeah, good.
And here's the big question. You asked this, Gift, and I'm asked this as well. by the people that are calling in and asking what's going on. Is this going to be like 2008? And that's so fresh in everybody's memories that's kind of a common question. And, so part of what we can anticipate is, in my estimation, because of what was happening before the big outbreak, the banking institutions, and the housing market were very strong. Okay. So I believe that the housing market and the banking system are going to be what pulls us out of this and gets us going in a positive direction, the upper side of that V. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little different than 2008. In 2008, the housing market and the banking institution, mostly caused by the housing market, the loans, the crazy loans that you could get, so we actually drove us into the last 2008 recession.
Yeah, so
I think we're going to pull us.
Tie in what you're just saying, it makes perfect sense, because if you're looking at back 2008, 2009, it's easy to get the loan, right? And people just don't take it serious. And then when they take that money out from equity and they buy the boat, they go travel, they do something else with the money versus have the high equity like we are right now, because we're in a strong market. A lot of people have a lot of equity in the house. So that's what the one thing that I see the difference, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're correct. 100% correct. We're going to see that in one of the slides here coming up. The comparison, as you mentioned, the values were skyrocketing on the homes, and anybody could get a loan. That was part of the reason everybody was selling at crazy, profits. And on the refinance side, people were using their houses like credit cards. They would refinance, take money out. And we're going to look at that in just a second. So, but when you look at the housing and mortgage crash, back in that time frame we're just talking about, 2008, the housing and mortgage crash we had a 51% correction on the downside of S&P. That's huge. Yeah. And we actually had depreciation and not appreciation. And you know this well because you were out there on the field. Minus 10% in 2008 was probably a low number. In our area, we were seeing depreciation values of like some places 30% loss. So it was rather extreme. And so one of the things that we have to be concerned about, and this ties back into the consumer spending I was just telling you about, is that 9/11, these pandemics, they're all major shocks to the economy. And so the thing that needs to happen is we need that consumer spending to start happening. It's going to affect the same, and we're seeing it right now. It's going to affect the same industries, the airlines, the leisure, the hospitality, restaurants, entertainment, all of those things, because there's nobody out there visiting those places or using those services. It's causing a big, not a recessionary. It's recessionary is what it is. Yeah. So if you look at another time, the .com crash, and that goes back, and the 9/11 crash, same thing, a 45% correction in the S&P, but at that time we had appreciation values popping up, 6 to 8%. So that was fantastic. So you can see that there's differences between these things, but here's what you were talking about, and this led into the big bubble. Okay, the annual home price appreciation in the 6 years leading up to the 2008 crash. Look at the appreciation over here at the end of 2004, 2005, 12.5, 11.4%. I mean, that's just not sustainable. That can't happen. And of course, we found that out. The housing bubble, and it collapsed. Yeah. But to put it into perspective, and that's kind of what I'm trying to share today is to be calm, be patient, don't be scared, because it's not the same as the other ones. In the last 6 years here, leading up to today, 4.5, 4 the highest appreciation level we had, 6.4%, was lower than the lowest over here in the run up to the big bubble. Okay, so everything's in great shape. This is very sustainable. It allows people to afford mortgages. Your income's growing, so it's very, very sustainable. So that's completely different than the other 2008 run-up. And here's the bubble. We talked about that. Here's people, anybody could get a loan, and the housing bubble happened, and then boom, everything tightened up. And boy, I mean, within a year or two, it was tough to get a loan. compared to back here in the housing bubble. And today it's at 181.3, which is very stable and very affordable and easy to get the mortgage credit. So months of inventory. You know this. You're out there on the street. We're literally at record lows right now.
Right.
But back then there was 8.2 months of inventory. So tons of houses on the market, tons of people buying because anybody could qualify for a mortgage.
Right.
Today's drastically different. We're literally at all-time lows. And Gift, that's helping to keep the values up because there's competition.
Exactly. Yep.
So here's the other thing that you were talking about, and that's the people taking equity out of the property. Back in the run up to the big 2008 crash, people were just using their houses like credit cards. They would refinance every year and just pay off debt, buy boats, buy cars, and they were literally out of control. And some of them got over leveraged, and of course foreclosures resulted from that.
Yeah.
But you can see here in the 3 years running up, it was 260, 320 big numbers. $824 billion of money was taken out of homes in that run up. We're only at 232 billion right now. I mean, that's a very, very low number.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, this kind of illustrates it a little bit better. And most people are shocked by these numbers. 37% of all homes are owned free and clear, no mortgage. Okay. And I think that this might be a little dated. That number's a little bit low. And 26% of the mortgaged homes have at least 50% equity. I know that's low because I just checked this the other day. It's now 60%. So a large percentage of the population has 60% of equity in their properties. Very safe.
Sorry.
Yeah, nothing to be nervous about. Very safe. You have a lot there. Not like it was before in 2008 when people were getting 100% loans with really low credit scores, tons of equity. So we're in a far different place than we were then.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple more slides and we'll be done. And you can ask any questions, but the percent of the median income needed to purchase the median priced home, a lot different. I mean, we're only 14.8% of the median income. So that tells you incomes have gone up drastically. Mm-hmm. People were qualifying, well, besides the fact that they were crazy loans, they were being stretched out with their income and sometimes over leveraged. Right now, it only takes 14.8% because incomes have risen. So what should you do now? And I think the most important thing, Gift, for you, your friends, your clients, is to do what it says right down here on the bottom. Be smart, be patient, but most of all, stay safe. Continue the social distancing. That's very important. Your health is the most important thing. Yes, the economy. Yes, your mortgage. That's all important things too. But staying safe and healthy is the most important thing. Don't panic. Things are going to be okay. We're going to come out of this fairly quickly. And I would say, there's things out of our control that we can't control.
Right.
You have to think of it that way.
Right.
Don't be nervous and all upset and, having anxiety because it's things that you can't control. But things are moving in the right direction. That's what I really wanted to share today.
Wow. Good to hear this, Bill. It's actually helping so much, right? Because with the pandemic, people just see the headline and they don't look at the real insight from what you, the expert, give us the confirmation. I think that's something that they should looking at it, especially look at the history, right? So what is the market right now today compared with that? I think your slide is give us such a clear crystal that confirm, from the people that take the money out, back then from the housing market and compare with today. I feel like today real estate actually holding the economy, because of it's so strong. And even the unemployed, but real estate is still strong. The seller can feel good about what they have in equity is not going to go down. And the buyer can feel good about instead of their rent, they can buy, they can own the home, especially in this DC metro area. We always have a strong market, right?
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. So, one of the big things is, and I think I'm not a super big fan of Ben Bernanke. He's the past Federal Reserve chairman. He did some good things and bad things, but this is a great little quote that I pulled from him. The 2008 was a nightmare. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
It was a big meltdown in the economy and the housing industry. But a lot of that was the panic, the decline in employment, the consumption, people not consuming, the consumer spending. It got out of control, and people were just the anxiety and the panic were so big. I think if there was, I agree with him on this point, is that if we didn't have so much of that, the recession would have been significantly less severe. So that's one of the things I'm trying to express here through this presentation. I thank you for allowing me to share today. Is to relax and don't panic. All right, let's kind of get ourselves back to where we need to be, and we'll get there very, very quickly. Yeah. So if you have any questions, or anybody who's watching this video has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me at the office number or the cell number here, or just drop me an email, and I'll be happy to respond and answer any concerns you might have.
Thank you so much, Bill. This is such a valuable information. I also gonna download this Facebook Live to YouTube. If anyone have some question or want to go back and look at it, we always, have that valuable information. So that's why we are here to provide you the best, because we insight, right, Bill, and try to bring Bill or some other people that expert in the area to confirm, not just watching the headline news. The news is just we want you to watch more, but this is something that we have analysis and looking at it. And Bill is really valuable information. Thank you so much. Again, if anyone thinking about selling, I still think, right, as based on what Bill's saying, it's very strong market for seller because it's low inventory still, right? And then for the buyer side, the interest, how much is the interest now as of April 16 today? Because things keep changing too, right, as you've seen. So each day is different, but overall it's still under 4, right? 3.9 or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's still very, very low. I feel like, again, real estate market really whole economy. With everything else is posh right now. Take the time to relax and enjoy with your family. As he said, don't panic. Just be responsible, spend quality time with your family, with your, personal and business improvement at this time. And then when we hit unposh, we can take off, right?
Absolutely.
We can take off and enjoy everything again. So thank you again for everyone watching. You can look at YouTube or contact us. Bill and me, we work together at the NDP National Association of Divorce, Fairfax Group. So we can provide you some more information. Thank you.